So we were just talking about relationships and the shift and how and what you were describing about kind of what I would call tantric sex and versus therapy, and I think that's very interesting because what I see happening is as we're on this evolutionary process going through this shift, where we're basically going to do away with the death and the rebirth cycle in the way that we know it now, and because of that, sex as we know it, for the sheer necessity of keeping the species going, is going to be different. So I think that's interesting that what you were saying about it, because it kind of all fits in.
I found myself in a situation right now where basically I'm being pushed in the poly direction, and I feel that I've had experiences pushing me up in this direction when I've had no inclination to do it before, and it's not like because it's just like, I want to go have sex with multiple people or this kind of thing. It's that I need to learn this lesson now for the way that love is going to be in the future, that this is a step. Learning to be poly is a way of exchanging love in a more unconditional platform, which is helping us prepare energetically and the way we think about things and all this other, just our whole being, to be more like how we're going to be. And I feel that it's almost part of my ascension process.
Mm. Well, and if you think that, then it is, and then you want to go with it and get everything out of it by embracing it in that way, but not to also allow it to be coming from a shadow space. And what do you think and how do you judge it? And if you are finding yourself defending or explaining a little bit, then you know that you're not in your highest place. You know that you're in your ego. And that's why relationships are so important, because relationships tell us everything that we need to know about ourselves. Everything in our relationship with everything, nature, whatever it is, our family, our friends, absolutely, but just your inner guides, what's your relationship with your higher self? What's your relationship with your future self? What's your relationship with your future self? Are you having a good relationship, a good rapport? Is your future self happy with how you are and who you are now? And because we don't want to be afraid of our future, because fear, where is fear in the shift? I think that's part of our job as light workers and map makers and whatever it is we want to call ourselves, or feel that we're doing. We are bringing a little bit of our own experience and understanding of quantum physics. It's as simple as that. We can put it any way we want. We can, it's our interpretation, but it also comes from experience in a way that we're feeling what people are striving for. We're experiencing what people are striving for. We're having spontaneous gratitude. Spontaneous gratitude is very sexy. It's a very energizing energy. It sustains and it generates more. It's a very powerful thing. So you're experiencing it all, and you're experiencing it all in light speed comparatively to what I did in my process of, I had 40 years of baggage that I had never even thought about looking at. When I started clearing myself to a higher consciousness by just taking responsibility for creating reality. Which is what you're doing. So in taking responsibility, how you're looking at these new things in relationships. So I think it's an exciting time to be alive.
Definitely is. I've definitely had this experience recently. I know I've mentioned it briefly, but I felt like my higher self has been dragging me off the back of a boat like a minute or two and just jumping between these experiences, because the last 5 days have felt like months. I mean, I feel so much like a different person than I was just 2 weeks ago. And, I mean, obviously the same person, but, I mean, I feel like I've made, like, so much growth in this way that it's just, I mean, I can't even articulate it all of just
yeah,
how
but and you
fast
don't have to. See, that's the thing of this, and the kind of communication we're going to be having, and we won't have to use language in the way that we did before. It won't be necessary. I know that. I already know what you're saying about, you know, just from seeing you when I got out of the car a few hours ago. I immediately sensed that you were different. But also knew you. I didn't have to re-meet you. I didn't have to, that was still there. And that's because relationships are becoming more fulfilling, and they're becoming more, they're real, because we're living in the moment instead of talking about telling the story of what we should have done or they did to us, or all that storytelling isn't what we communicate anymore. Now we communicate from our truth, from who we are, and we're really getting to know each other, so that when we can be apart, we can be together. It doesn't matter. You feel, like you said, like we said, when you got there, it seemed like you weren't gone for the 2 years. We realized they had been here like almost 2 years ago, and said that they were thinking, you know, and this is now, boom, it's all happening in 2 weeks, because everything is expanding exponentially, and our growth is accelerating. So it's so exciting. Then there's nothing more important to it, because we all care about making a difference, and we want the world to be a peaceful place. We want the world to be, we want to be happy. It's like time already to be happy. And I think that we're claiming that happiness now. I think it's a very exciting time.
Life is good.
Oh, this is everybody's welcome in this discussion. I mean, the universe talks through all of us, and I've had this one experience, like, this happened 3 times at the last gig we had. I was sitting there, and something came in my head, and word for word, and I was just like, no, I don't really want to say that. I don't feel like that's quite me right now. And somebody across the room said it in exactly the same words. Everybody laughed, and I just sat there like, you know, and I just had this realization that the script is coming down in the energies. You know, I don't understand astrology, but in those kind of energies that are coming down from the skies and up from us, that help shape the experiences. And that, I mean, this was just the perfect example, because it happened several times that I had word for word something in my head, and I said no. But we were all in this joined experience, and everybody was on the same page there. And he said the same thing. It was the script.
That's because he is here. See, what you're getting to see now is, I'll give you an example. I was in an office environment, and I was one of 4 women in an office. And how I noticed it, and you noticed it from a much more enlightened place than I did, I noticed it as judgment. I was judging each one of them. And then suddenly I realized that each one of them was me. And in that moment, the judgment was lifted, and it was like a whole new energy, because I was getting what seeing yourself in someone else means in a way that broadened me, and that's what you're seeing and getting as this person spoke what you were wanting to speak but not wanting to speak.
Yeah.